Hello, friends, and welcome back. I'm going to try to do a couple of different things in today's video. I wanted to start off with a question that Dagmar had. Thank you very much, Dagmar, and welcome to the channel. I have listened to several videos of you. Did I understand correctly that we have to look for an escape route that we might end up in camps before the rapture begins? Or was this recommendation for those left behind? Yes, after the rapture, the second. But we'll break that down a little bit. My hope is that Jesus will rapture us before these terrible things happen. Could you please write some explanatory words about the message you received from Jesus about the rapture and succession of events? My understanding of English is not 100%, so I might have misunderstood something. So, yes, okay. A lot of people are having dreams that there is an event that happens in tandem. With my dream, there was shaking, and then there was fire. Another person posted a dream where there was rioting outside and violence. They were inside in their dream and safe. I was inside in my dream and safe. So when the rapture happens, the earth is going to enter a new age, if you will. We are now in the age of grace. But the Bible talks about God lifting up his hand from America, and then the seals will begin. And I think I misstated and said that there were 4 seals. There are 7 seals, and the first seal will be war. So again, we're safe. I don't think that the remnant bride is going to be put into any sort of camps, but the remnant church that has been left behind, those people are going to have to come up with a plan. Anybody who dedicates their lives to God after the rapture, they're going to have to be wise. I wish that I could say that you could trust everybody in the church, but we know, even in Jesus's days, there was Pharisees. They warned us about wolves in sheep's clothing. So what I recommend, and I'm pursuing myself, is get in with a small church, one where the pastor. The pastor, hopefully will be raptured. Not all of them will be. You have to be watching, lest the Son of God find you sleeping. We have to be watching, just like the 5 wise virgins were watching, and that's why we're digging into the word together, because sometimes it's hard to do it on our own. So let's just pull everybody together and just delve in, watch, pray, get in the word, love your neighbor. It's so important to love during this time. So I hope that answers your question. We are safe. I mean, people will have a certain destiny. What I've noticed, there are people who believe in pre-trib, mid-trib, post-trib, and it's likely that that's just their destiny, and that's why that type of revelation has been revealed to them. Because you can find verses to support all of these things. People with maybe more of a Jewish background seem to espouse the, hey, we're going to go through the tribulation point of view. And that would make sense. It would coincide with the 144,000 virgins that are sealed in the book of the Revelations that go out and evangelize the world. And it's going to be an amazing time, but if you watch Brenda Weltner's videos on the matter, she's like, you have to be careful if you're one of the 144,000 or anyone left in the tribulation, not to try to blend in with these churches that are working with the government, that are working with FEMA, because they're not trusting in God. They're not looking to God. They're taking orders from the Antichrist or the false prophet, who is ever running the show. So we really need to exercise wisdom during this time. Now, again, thank you, Dagmar, for that question. I want to also, finally, I've been working on this over the weekend. I talked about something known as a Faraday cage, and I really didn't know what it was like a whole lot before trying to construct one myself. Having worked for the government as a DoD contractor, I was aware of things like electromagnetic pulses that could knock the whole country off the grid. Power, internet, everything. So there are some videos online. I recommend do some research, but I have done some research for you so you can save some time, and it did take a lot of time. But what I went out, I've bought a galvanized steel trash can. I lined it with cardboard, and I purchased some aluminum foil tape. That's something that's used in HVAC systems. I'm not saying that this is what you have to do. I'm going to put something together here with you that's much more simple. But that was what I did. I lined that trash can drum with cardboard, and then I put a towel at the bottom just for some extra insulation. So an electromagnetic pulse, let me back up, is basically a nuclear explosion that gets detonated over the continental US, and it will basically suck up all the electrons, from what my understanding is. So no power. Could be for a couple of weeks. This is a hard time of the year, obviously, to have that happen. So everybody stock up on food. People are having dreams of lines at groceries, food shortages. People are having dreams of housing, people being homed in malls and warehouses. So nobody knows what's going to happen. Don't know the criteria, but do have food on hand. Go to, Gordon Food Services, Aldi's, Walmart, Costco, wherever. Be prepared. For your electronics, phones can be used as walkie-talkies, and I didn't know that before I was doing this research. You can download some apps and have your friends, family, download those same apps so that you guys may, I don't know, but you may be able to communicate with each other. This is uncharted territory for any of us, really. So I wanted to teach you how to protect those electronic devices. Other good apps to have would include First Aid, a First Aid app, as well as maps, offline maps. Because who knows, and I'm still doing research in terms of vehicles. The research that I've done says that they should be fine, but that's probably not for the magnitude that we're looking at, maybe for the magnitude of a solar flare. But for the type of pulse that we're considering, it might be a little bit more involved. So what I did, if you have, a backup spare phone that you're not using, I've got a case right here, I'm charging the phone up. Go ahead. If you have a cookie tin, I've got an old Domino's tin, and you can line it with cardboard as well. And then this next part, I put a little sort of acronym together so we could all remember. What is it? I know it's not acrostic. Maybe that's what I want to say. But I put something together to help you memorize and remember the layering process. So we're going to start with, we've got our little device, cloth. So I want you to put cloth around the device, just an insulator. And then the next thing, after C for cloth, P, plastic. It can be saran wrap. It can be a plastic baggie. Either way is fine. What we're looking at is the seal. So go ahead and get that baby sealed up. I sealed up earlier and now it's not fitting. But so we have C, P, the last one, aluminum, A. So not certified public accountant, but cloth, plastic, aluminum. And if you can do that with your devices, several layers worth, you're doing a lot. And you won't believe how much time I have spent on this trying to get everything together. But you can do it way easier. And then surround, actually put this we've got our device, CP, and then the last is A, cloth, plastic. I'm gonna put it in this tin because I've got one. Not everybody's gonna have something that fits. And then just wrap this up with, if you've got it, heavy duty aluminum foil. If you don't have heavy duty aluminum foil, just any foil. What I'm reading is what you want to do is not one continuous wrap, several layers. You want to do one at a time and then make them just disconnected. So it's not a continuous flow, because then it's going to conduct that much easier. So that's the suggestion. If you want to repeat and grab another cloth after you've put your aluminum foil on and wrap it up again, and you've got a bigger bag, you can put it in a bigger bag or more saran wrap and then more foil, you know, whatever it takes. And here's the thing. My hope and my prayer is that everybody's listening to this. This isn't going to be something that you yourself have to worry about. But I'm thinking of those who are going to be left behind. I'm thinking about my roommate. I'm thinking about my roommate's family. So these are things that I have talked about. People don't want to hear it, and that's okay. I'm learning it's okay. But as we see more events coming out in the news, and as other people are saying similar things, and even channels being taken down, I think that people's eyes are beginning to open. But for the most part, what I hear back is, oh, it's going to happen in 2025. And okay, well, maybe that's their fate, and that's okay. We have to work with the grain and not against it every chance that we get. You also want to include the cables. These have sensitive wiring and receptors in them, and they can be impacted by a pulse. So you want to keep your wires and your devices together. You can put more than one object in your tins. Just again, separate them with the plastic and the cloth, and then you can wrap everything up in the aluminum. So I hope that you have benefited from this. If you can, and you've got any silica gel packs, drop those in, because, you know, the cloth and the towels or the cardboard or anything is susceptible to water. Don't put rice in, because we're trying to keep rodents and critters away. So post if you have questions. I think I've covered everything. If you do use, and actually you can do it on this as well. You can also, if you have it, it's not mandatory, just do more layers. But if you have aluminum tape, you can tape the edges and the seams as well. And with the trash can, what I found was that it's easier to line the seams on the inside than try to navigate the handles on the sides. Also, it's so I tape the inside in terms of this horizontal vertical seams, and then I did the outside in terms of the horizontal seams at the bottom, just because it was easier with all of the curves, all of the edges, just to do the outside and then fold it under, rather than try to follow the line and it coming in and out and all that jazz. So don't forget to also line not just the bottom, but the top, the lids as well. Same deal. Just use a pencil or marker and just trace the cardboard. You might have to shave some off just to make sure that it fits, but this is going to save you hopefully a lot of time rather than doing your research, and just make sure that you can seal it all the way down if you've got a good seal. Comment below if you have a question, and I'm going to go ahead and just do this as the do it yourself video. I do want to read couple of verses real quick. I mentioned that you can just open the Bible sometimes and see if God has something for you. And what I'll do is, like I said, I've had this Bible a long time. So there are pages, lots of pages that have markings on them that have been underlined. So I opened to the book of Joel, and that's a very prophetic book. But this is chapter 2, verse 13. It says, "Rend your heart and not your garments. Return to the Lord your God, for he is gracious and compassionate, slow to anger and abounding in love. And he relents from sending calamity. Who knows? He may turn and have pity and leave behind a blessing. Grain offerings and drink offerings for the Lord your God." There's going to be some pretty amazing things that happen um, today, but also in the after the rapture during the tribulation. And when I saw this, I was like, God, I don't feel that this is for me. I know that my heart is right with you. I check it. I checked it today. I check it every day. I think that we're good. And so I thought about it during the day because I'm like, God, but if that's not the case, please show me. Please tell me. And I felt that God was saying that this is for when it says rend your heart and not your garments. People who would rent their garments, they would be in extreme distress. And it felt to me like God was saying, I don't want you to be obsessed with the rapture, anybody. I want your heart. Turn your heart to me. And I apologize if I haven't made that correct emphasis, that this is not about escaping the rapture. This is about loving God and being that bride for him, because he more than deserves it, obviously. It's phenomenal, all he has done for us. We are the righteousness of God through Jesus Christ. It doesn't matter what we think or see or feel. As long as we are connected and pursuing him, that's who we are and that's what we are. So God's grace is just so incredible and so amazing. His love is so rich and so deep. He forgave the thief on the cross at the last minute. Some people might say, well, he didn't deserve it. Jesus is love, and he knows the heart. He knows our heart, and he knows our purpose and our calling and everything, our history, our past. So be encouraged. Leave your questions below. If anything was unclear, please let me know. And or also some suggestions if you've been a Faraday cage and what you think. So comment below, and I'll see you next video. Blessings.